Hey, what's up, Pathways Church? I'm Nathan Purefoy, your worship pastor, and I'm bringing you the daily dose this week. We're in Acts chapter 28. Right now, we're going to start right away, 28, verse 4. Yesterday, we actually read this verse together, and this is where Paul was bit by a snake, and people thought he was going to die, and he just shook the snake off, and God protected him. But it says, in verse 4, when the islanders saw the snake hanging from his hand, they said to each other, "This man must be a murderer," because he just came in on a shipwreck from a prisoner ship, and they can tell, so they think this guy must be a murderer. Even though he escaped from the sea, the goddess of justice has not allowed him to live. But Paul shook the snake off into the fire and suffered no ill effects. The people expected him to swell up or suddenly fall dead, but after waiting a long time and seeing nothing unusual happen to him, they changed their minds and said he was a god. In just one verse, Paul went from being accused of being a murderer, that this God of justice is going to kill him to pay for whatever sin he's committed, to he is now a god. There are people in your life that are going to say, "You're the worst." And you know what? You don't get to choose that. Some people just are going to have their own opinions, and you just got to deal with it sometimes. There's going to be people that accuse you of awful things, that think you're terrible. Maybe you just don't jive with those people. And then there's going to be people that think you're the greatest. And sometimes it's the same person that goes from saying you're the worst to saying you're a god. But let me tell you what, they're all wrong. It doesn't matter what any of these people think. The only thing that matters is what God says about you. We often have our identity wrapped up in what other people think about us. That's why social media is so popular. That's why we get on this rabbit hole of scrolling and comparing ourselves to other people's lives. But the only thing that matters is what God thinks of us. And God thinks that you're worth dying for. And he's been clear since day one. I know you're not perfect, but I love you anyways, and I'll do whatever it takes to be close with you for eternity. That's what God says about us. So forget the people that say you're the worst. Forget the people that say you're the best. It's easy to believe both of those lies. Instead, just listen to what God says about you. We'll see you tomorrow on The Daily Dose.